Hello everyone. Welcome to this reflection for the week in which the Church remembers the Blessed Virgin Mary. We're going to think about Mary's song of praise, the Magnificat, which she sang after her visit from the angel Gabriel, bringing the good news that she was to bear God's Son. Jonathan is going to take us on a prayer walk to help us reflect on Mary's words. But first, let's hear her words from Luke's Gospel. Luke chapter 1, verses 46 to 55. And Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour. For he has looked with favour on the lowliness of his servant. Surely from now on all generations will call me blessed, for the Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is his name. His mercy is for those who fear him from generation to generation. He has shown strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. He has brought down the powerful from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. He has helped his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy, according to the promise he made to our ancestors, to Abraham and to his descendants forever."
I'm standing by the busy main road into Guildford, the Woking Road, but I'm also standing right beside the River Wey. We're going to take a walk along by the river and reflect gently on the words we've just heard from Mary as she rejoices in the news she's been given by the angel Gabriel. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour. Quite often I cycle along this path after my working day, and within a couple of minutes, you can already tell probably, it's so much quieter than being on the main road. And what I love about this route is that it takes us right beside the river, and yet we're also so close to all that makes for Guildford and the business centre around us. So there is the back of the Slyfield Council offices, and so I'm constantly reminded that although this is the countryside, although there is so much beauty, we're also right in the heart of the town. Here you can breathe deeply and rejoice with Mary. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour. Just look at the beauty of these reflections. The amazing evening light. Everything is calm and tranquil. And so in our hearts, we can feel closeness to God. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour. This always reminds me of a book that is a particular favourite of mine. It's a book by Rob Cowan. It's called Common Ground. Common Ground, in which he speaks about the edgelands, the places which are close to the town centres and yet where we find ourselves in the countryside, sort of forgotten areas. He talks about towns in Yorkshire, and yet the points that he makes are very much the same as we might think of here. We're very close to the town. Just along this bit, you can even smell that slightly strange smell of the Slyfield rubbish dump. And yet, this is beautiful. We're surrounded by the beauty of nature. And so in the midst of all this, on the edgelands, we can say, my soul magnifies the Lord. My spirit rejoices in God, my Saviour. For he has looked with favour on the lowliness of his servant. That song of Mary that reminds us that she was so aware of her humility. She is the lowly servant of God. And yet she, like each one of us, has the possibility of saying yes to God, of bringing to God all that she is, putting herself at God's disposal, enabling God to work something new in the world, something extraordinary, to bring God alive in the heart of everyday life. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God, my Saviour. One of the great things about the river, of course, is that people use it for so much recreation. So there's boating, there's running, there's walking, there's cycling. It's all right here on our doorstep. Somehow the very ordinariness of our everyday surroundings become that bit different when we simply take time to walk, to reflect. One of the things that we've heard so much about in these last few weeks and months is the importance of noticing the small things around us, noticing the flowers, the birds. These are the things which enable us to just feel that bit closer to God again, to say with joy in our hearts, my soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God, my Saviour. When we think a little bit about the example of Mary, all that she did in the service of God, it's interesting to hear that line, surely from now on all generations will call me blessed. I wonder how often we pause to think just how blessed we are in our lives. How often we pause to remember that we are called by God, that God recognises our lowliness, that God walks with us and works with us every moment of the day. That we too could be called blessed in so many ways. And we know that, like Mary, we have the things that have the possibility of piercing our own hearts sometimes. The things that we find difficult, the things about our calling that really challenge us. And yet, we are never alone. We are known by God in our deepest selves. God longs to work with all that we are, all that we can do in God's name. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God, my Saviour. This view here is another of those where it's good on the journey home just to pause, to hear the bird song, to note the traffic in the background, but remember that we can always come and lift ourselves outside that daily hubbub just that little bit, remembering our specialness in the eyes of God, how much God longs for us to know that we are loved. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God, my Saviour. We're coming now to one of my favourite parts of this journey along the path. It's where the river bends around, and again you get just that glimpse of reflections of the trees and the enticing bend as we wonder where the path is going to take us next. Maybe that too is a little bit like the journey of Mary, the journey that began with the extraordinary news of the angel that took her to her cousin Elizabeth, that gave rise to that glorious song of rejoicing in her heart. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God, my Saviour. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour. For he has looked with favour on the lowliness of his servant. Surely from now on all generations will call me blessed.